as a soldier, 76, and you also play Reinhardt. Try to, specifically, if you're looking for really serious improvement, try to focus on one role. That is really important. Of course, prioritize thinking such as, what do you enjoy doing the most, of course. If you enjoy playing different roles, just multiple roles, that's also okay. But if we want to aim for as fast as possible improvement, climbing as high as you can, then try to aim towards playing just one role as much as possible. Then Lucio is okay. Potentially can add some other supports as well, but because in Overwatch 2 it's pretty one-tweakable environment, you don't have to play too many supports, I would say. Then Lucio might be okay. He has an emote where he gets and stretches. Okay. So far, yeah, I don't have any other questions. Your playtime is pretty decent, and you also play in solo queue, which is fine. Let's get into the replay review.
Time
76 and Ryan are my picks for when I get field, when I do flex pick. Yeah, that makes sense. Just think about it from this part of, because we focusing on multiple characters, focusing on multiple roles, then overall, because they're conflicting concepts, like let's say with the tank, what do we want to do a lot? We want to initiate the fight, yeah? And let's say suddenly you played a lot of games on tanks, but then you switch to support. What's going to happen, right, is that as a support, you will try to initiate a lot and be in the front line a lot. Yeah, just as a general habit. And it's the same about other roles too. There are some conflicting aspects within each role, so you have to be careful with playing too many roles at once. That's what I mean. But again, you always want to start with what you enjoy the most and what your goals are. If your goals are to go as high as possible, then playing one role is usually the best. Even if it's a flex pick, when you're doing this, not a role queue, but what's that called? What was that? I even forgot the name of it. It's just nobody almost playing that game mode currently. But you know, where you can play multiple characters, I guess. Okay. So far, what do we want to pay attention to is, because we're playing Zenyatta here, how we manage our aggression for the most part, what kind of positions we're taking to support our team. It's a direct support where you do the healing, and you also want to look for indirect support as well. So looking to do damage as much as possible. And overall, your priority is to look into do this indirect support as much as possible, because damage output is always going to be higher than the healing output. It's really, really important, fundamental to understand. Also, I don't know if it's shown at replay, but I ended up getting play of the game somehow. Oh, nice. I don't think it's gonna show, but we're gonna take a look. Okay, so far you have this kind of position here, okay, looking for some initial shots, but that's what I mean. Even this minor bit of pressure, which is missed somewhere, might end up in a situation where somebody from your team dies. Yeah, let's say you support them with an orb, but because the damage output is constantly higher, you want to find ways to deal the damage by yourself and stop the enemy team from doing damage. So technically, especially in this current situation when you have a lot of one-shots in the game, what's going to happen is if we do not put an orb on somebody or pressure the target, then that target can one-shot one of our teammates or deal a lot of damage. Let's say Bastion, yeah? We put the orb on the Bastion, and then because you do early pressure in the Bastion hides, and he is not able to do damage in a turret form. Yeah, there are also a bunch of characters such as Sojourn, there are characters such as Genji, so you decreasing the damage output from the enemy team is really important. It's your first number one priority, because what we see now with this position, you are able to do this kind of first direct support with the healing, but we're not able to start with indirect support such as dealing damage. Let's say 2 headshots on the Moira, she's out of the fight, and then somebody not get healed, and then that person dies. Let's say pressure on the Bastion, as I mentioned, he gets in a turret form or something, he is not able to do pressure as well. So that is the first thing which I'm noticing. Kind of slightly less pressure than we expect. Oh, I can just do this, by the way. Let me just do this real quick. So I go in properties, and then we gold, right, gold support. Okay. And then it's gonna be here, in the corner. Let's go. Okay. That's alright. So one more thing. Because you wanna be... I really wanna prioritize us trying to increase the damage output. So when you have this downtime, what you can think about as well is trying to increase your damage output when you're not in the fight. Instead of doing the mouse one, we can aim to do the right click when we're behind the wall. Yeah, let's say we're here and we want to do a lot of pressure because we want to support our team. Let's say I did the right click on the bastion. It's definitely higher damage output than me going for consistent pressure on the mouse one with the mouse one. So your general rule is when you have this downtime, it can be now, it can be before as well. You want to aim to do that right click potentially so you can deal a lot of damage and force an enemy resources potentially. Or maybe you can also get a kill, which is really good, but our main priority is to force certain resources. Like let's say the match starts and instead of you specifically looking to just AWP somebody, which is good, that is really good that you put in your AWP specifically. I think there was a squishy as well you did prioritize. Let me see. I think there was a surgeon which you prioritized. Oh, by the way, the sound is messy again. Yeah, the replay is still back. Yeah, so let me just see it again. Yeah, there was an AWP on the surgeon exactly, but because I want to be doing something in downtime. Let's say the enemy, they just come around the corner, you do this extra right click, and then maybe go for one more. You can even get a kill on somebody. Get a kill on somebody, your team is supported more. Because if you got a kill on somebody, that person cannot do damage towards an enemy team, right? The Jew YouTube. I'm sorry if I'm not pronouncing the nickname correctly, but thank you for your follow. Okay, so far, that's the issue I see. Using the downtime with the right clicks and also trying to potentially go for, just in general, more pressure before the fight starts. Because that can lead to that situation where you snowball of advantage you have, and then later this will not happen. The enemy team, they will have a harder time in walking to the point. You force certain defensive resources, you force certain, yeah, I don't know, even offensive abilities. That helps you immensely. If you wanna have one more specific thing, which I'm gonna talk about probably later as well, is you wanna try to play around the corners, which I think you do it pretty decently, but you wanna push it towards the high end a little bit more. So instead of doing this, where we exposed to 3 people, or let's say currently in this situation we exposed to 4 people here, even the Mercy can shoot us technically. Yeah. What we want to do is to not be exposed to everybody, but do this. Let's say you want to shoot the Moira, you minimize the amount of threats by playing closer to the corner. What we do here is the white peeking the multiple players here. So see how far away we are from the corner. For you to push it towards the high end a little bit more, you want to have such a rule where you can reach the target in 0.5 seconds. Let's say somebody shoots you, and then you can hide instantly, because you also have that support passive that's really crucial. You do a lot of damage. Maybe you can also, when you're hiding, do this right click, start with that, and then show up, and then because you do use the corners, they allow you to also recharge your resources, recharge your health too. Okay? But because now we can get shotted by multiple people, you decreasing your damage output, basically. The corners allows you, again, to increase the damage. Because you minimize the amount of threats, you don't have an AE damage. It's not possible to shoot everybody, right? Okay, if you have any questions as well, feel free to message here. In terms of the aim, because that's what you ask for, and because you're pretty new player as well, what I recommend, really recommend doing is, first of all, trying to increase your playtime in those kind of games. Let me just show you. I'm just gonna find it this way. FFA. Is there anything? No, 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 no. We don't want to find kill to grow. Why is there a skill to grow only? Okay, this is not working properly. Can I find the lobby? There is no lobby. Right there. That is your lobby you want to find, usually. So what is that basically? Is you playing against multiple players, 11, 12 players, yeah? And because you do play against those players a lot, you can spend maybe 10, 15 minutes as a warm-up. And because you do that, what's going to happen after is you're going to be fine with situations under pressure, with landing the shots when there are actual people shooting at you. Because the big problem with just shooting bots is that those bots are not shooting you, yeah? Even the custom games such as, what's that called, Voxta, that was a replay code, not the replay, sorry, but there's specific game mode which you can use. Let me find it. So I think it should be somewhere. It's not this one. I'm thinking. I'm not too sure actually. Aim. It should be called Aim Training Overwatch 2, something like that. Maybe it's that. Yeah. So even with those game modes where you specifically aim train, the problem is that you cannot actively use cover, and there is really problematic for you to use vertical spaces as well. There is only low grounds options, but in FFA, you actually give yourself an opportunity to challenge the enemy when you're up on the high ground, or when they are up on the high ground as well. Okay? So that is your aim training. You can do a little bit of this, but most of your aim training can be doing in try-hard FFA lobbies. Okay, hopefully that makes sense. If you have any questions regarding that, then again, ask me those. Okay, so far. Okay, so far. Let's watch again. Where we ended up. It does? Nice, perfect. Yeah, I think I'm a little bit too far ahead from from everything. Okay. Usually with those replays, it's always like this. I don't review the full replay, maybe, but because there are a lot of fundamental things I want to address, that's why we kind of not making it even towards the second half, if it makes sense, because there are too many things to address. I have to really to pay attention to that. But yeah, we can also review slightly more. Okay, so let's watch us. Great Discord here, and you pressure the Junkrat away. So see what happens is now, let's say you put an orb towards the Junkrat, now he's not able to go in aggressively. Because he's not able to go in aggressively, you support your team better, okay? So that is our indirect support, okay? Our indirect support. Here, you put an orb on somebody as well. I would say your orbs are fine. I would say you're right in terms of recognizing that your healing capabilities are okay. You can push it towards the high end a little bit more, but generally speaking, I like it. Don't understand what was the issue. What was the issue with the positioning? It seems like we dropped by accident here, which is sometimes happens, right? But try to utilize those positions where you have great sightlines on the enemy, and then where you can use the corners to consistently pressure them, minimize the amount of threats. Here, what we can say is, we're too isolated. Yeah, avoid situations where being isolated. Of course, you don't want to say that you want to be stacked with your team. You don't want to be necessarily stacked with everybody, but just be in the places where there can be resources sent, where your team can send resources to you. Because if we're here, obviously nobody can send any resources to you. But let's say even if I'm doing this, by the way, technically, just in theory, if I'm here, my team can support me. So this is better than this. So, but it might be intuitively kind of, you know, a little bit awkward. Yeah, but this is better. This is better, for example. Okay, I'm gonna elaborate on that maybe a little bit more, but let's see. Yeah, that was bad position on my part. I was on my own and I put myself there. That really was it. I'm hydrating. Yeah, thank you. Oh yeah, I see. I see what you mean. All right, so right here, I expected them to try and move down. Oh, okay. So let's elaborate on that then. Okay. So this part where you expect them to move down. Okay. How do you deal with that? Think about it this way. Who should be dragging the enemy team's attention, right? Who should be, first of all, trying to receive the pressure? Usually, that is your tank. First of all, fundamentally, it should be your tank. When your tank is doing something actively, then after that, you can aim to do something aggressively as well. But right now, guess who is going to receive pressure first? Yeah, it's going to be you, most likely. So what we want to do fundamentally, let's say we want to make a decision like that, is to make sure your tank is active in that area first. Because your tank is designed to drag the enemy team's attention, even though that's a hog, which is a little bit awkward, but still, that is the tank. That is the tank fundamentally for you. Your tank goes aggressive, you follow up on the aggression, okay? Or maybe your tank receiving a lot of pressure, but currently your tank is not being active yet. Maybe somewhere around here. Let's say your hog is getting shotted, you being active. But how you can be active is maybe, let's say you even do this. You can be active like that because your tank is being active in this area, but your tank is not active in this area here. Okay. Let's speed up a little bit more. Orbs are okay. You're recognizing who is active and putting an orb on them. That is great so far. Shots are okay. See the problem with the wide picking, which I'm talking about. Instead of being able to pick 3 people, I only want to pick one. The one who you discorded. So I do this. Or let's say you want to shoot the Junkrat, which gets you a little bit more value, or this Moira. Then you try to do this. Let's say you want to shoot the Junkrat, or let's say you try to shoot Moira, then you do this. Yeah. So we want to minimize the amount of threats we deal with. And well, we have Transcendence. Yeah, so far the big theme for you is really, really big important theme. How do I increase my damage output? That is through positioning, and that is through just you pressing mouse 1 a little bit more, I would say. Yeah, if that makes sense. And also using this downtime to increase the pressure. So right now we have the downtime. So what I can do is to charge my right click. Let's say the right click is not meeting any target. There is no body in front of me. What I can do is to cancel it. You cancel it with a melee. Yeah, as a Zenyatta, you can cancel it and then try to look for normal pressure. Okay. Your Discord is fine here. Looking to pressure the Bastion. Okay. Trying to fall back. That makes sense. Good rotation here, by the way. That is great. Great rotation so far. Nice. This is a little bit awkward. Let's go back. Alright, so right here we hold until overtime. Oh, I see. I see. Okay. So there is a big problem with doing this. You still do the same amount of damage, but doing this. Or let's say you can do this as well, yeah. But you really need to avoid wide picking situations. Because if they send resources at you, then first of all, which is the big consequence is that you might die, of course. But the second consequence is that you will be forced to fall back, and that means you decreasing your own damage output. You cannot damage the squishies comfortably, yeah, if you're not using the corners properly. Or you cannot damage the tank. Ultimate is okay, good reaction, I would say, yeah. Wait, what was that exactly too? I was thinking there was a... Wait, what? What was that exactly? There was a Bastion ult. Oh yeah, okay, so I'm not yeah, I'm correct. Yeah. But let's say this, by the way. You might not need the trance if you play around the corner, because corner gives you potential to LOS, the Bastion ult. Okay? So instead of being in the center, if I'm playing around the corner, let's say Bastion ults somewhere like this way, I can do this. Or let's say Bastion ults somewhere here, I can do this. Let's say Bastion ults like that though, then, well, whatever, he damages you a little bit if you're around the corner, but not as much. Okay? The epicenter deals the most damage. It's the same as a Doomfist ult. Literally the same. And then let's say you have your Transcendence up for the next fight, maybe it can change the outcome. Bastional, yeah, exactly. Now I just was a little bit confused because I saw the Rissa and then was a little bit visually awkward for me. Okay, so find shots. Yeah, so for example here, yeah, I'm shooting this person somewhere here. When I have downtime, what I can do is to start with the right click. Yeah, starting with the right click, showing here, and I can look to one-shot somebody. Yeah, or you can force them to go back, which is again leading to a situation where they cannot push, and then your team is not taking damage. What the May doing? She's hiding for the wall, which is okay. I'd say that's alright. Yeah, I think that is the big problem with us currently is using the corners from what I see, and utilizing our right click a little bit more. That is two biggest things. Even now, let's say you have this downtime, you can hold here, show here, and then try to go for the right click because you have this well situation where you want the fight. Yeah, there are only two people, so you can push them back a little bit. Let's say you get an extra peek, then you get an extra more time, and then after that you can push back and hold the positions around the payload here. Okay. So far, Power of War. Because the review, well, I think we're gonna end it really soon, maybe in like 5-6 minutes. I just wanna ask you, are there any specific questions? What you wanna ask me? Maybe any specific things you want me to look at? Because so far, that is the biggest thing I can tell you about them about your gameplay. Corners, using more opportunities to do indirect support, so dealing damage, and there are ways with a right click and with your mouse one and Discord. Uh, but yeah, if there are any specific questions, then feel free to ask those. Let's keep watching for now, though. Okay, that is fine. That is alright. This fight is okay. It's just we kind of lob it out in the open. Yeah. So okay, that is fine. I'm learning. You should already know that. You should already know that. Yeah, so let's also talk about this, such as I want you to think about the phases of the fight. So how you can think about that when it helps you, what helps you to increase the damage output of use support is looking at the situation. So when you have the situation when most of the teams are really, really far, so both of the teams, your team and the enemy, most of you guys, you cannot press mouse one on each other. What you can do is to aim to do some poke damage. So first of all, what it can lead to is, because you have that one-shot capability, you might one-shot somebody with your right click. That is the first thing. So trying to do something in the poke phase a little bit more. And the second thing is you force resources from the enemy team so they cannot push forward that much. Yeah, let's say you force that mortar shift, let's say you force Debomatics, let's say you force the Bastion, the Bastion turret mod, then later it will take more time for them to take space. Yeah, it takes more time for them to take space. That is better for your team. Um, And when you're in the actual brawl, so that is the poke phase, when both of the teams cannot press mouse one on each other comfortably, most of you guys. But that is also brawl phase in the game. Brawl phase is when both teams, most of you guys, can basically press mouse one. Yeah, let's say when we get to the fight somewhere around here, both teams kind of on top of each other. You can say that is the brawl phase. That is where you need again to have your proper position, where you need to stay at the proper spot and try to try to first of all pay attention to the how you deal damage here. So far, what I have been understanding is that I need to right click more and use corners to my advantage. Yeah, exactly. Also, pain orb, using that more to pressure people into not fighting. Exactly. If there are any more questions, then you can feel free to ask those. The corners can solve you a lot of problems currently. It solves you the problem where you do more damage. It solves you the problem with surviving and not ulting too early as well. A lot of stuff. Yeah, so like, this is what I mean as well, with early pressure. Let's say we would go for early pressure on somebody because you have that position, okay? What happens is, because you do go for early pressure, this Moira cannot flank, or this Diva cannot do stuff. I really encourage you, so that is something what I want to elaborate on, and I probably want to elaborate on that in a more sessions, in a future sessions, but think about the ways to position more aggressively. Because you do have a passive which gives you a healing. Yeah, basically, let's say you're gonna be active somewhere because you can take damage as Zenyatta or any support actually. Because you can do that, you can be more aggressive. So I want you to also think about that. Yeah, let's say I'm in the fight and somebody damaged me. Yeah, this guy damaged me. And because you use corners really well, that allows you to recharge your health back and then stay aggressive. So see what I mean? Corners and being aggressive. We don't want to be passive, want to be even more aggressive, but because you are using corners, you are able to recharge your health faster. You see what I mean? Yeah, and you also have your shields, which can recharge as well. So that is a support passive and shields too. That is really important. Trying to increase your damage output, finding ways to do that. So for example, here in your fight, yeah, it can be anything, it can be anywhere. When I'm in the game, so maybe I'm here, yeah. Let's say it's even our first fight, yeah. So you want to be safe as support, but you really can take damage. You can take damage and do stuff actively. Even let's say I'm playing over here, and then I'm gonna get shotted. That is okay, because my house is gonna get recharged. And if you play around the corner, then you can instantly hide and do not die. And because some support players they would say, "Oh, you're forcing us to play in a in a really frontline positions and die," but in reality, you just use corners to not die. Yeah. So that is really important. And let's say even in this last fight, yeah, not the last fight, but this this point here. Okay, I think there's gonna be a point where we have the ultimate. So that is what I'm saying. Yeah, even here. Okay, you could be potentially more aggressive. Let me just find you exact example. Yeah, so somewhere around here. Let's say I can stay more aggressive as Zenyatta. Like here, I can press mouse one on somebody, right click as well, and then if somebody damages me, I'm totally okay because I can use the corners. Maybe you can do this, by the way. I don't think you can do this, sorry. I think you can just play somewhere around here, maybe, and then fall back around this corner. Kind of like that. And then because you stay aggressive, use the corners, it's increasing damage output. Not gonna lie, when it comes to shields and armor, it doesn't feel like there's a difference, not gonna lie. What do you mean? What do you mean there's no difference? Of course there's a difference. Just one more example for you, maybe. Let's try to utilize one more example, how we can be more aggressive. So, let's say you start this fight, okay? Something you can think about is instead of playing in a really safe position where you're not gonna get shotted, you can even do this, yeah? So let's say I can even do this and look for this kind of position and play really aggressive. But again, because you have this corner, you LOS these guys, yeah? So you being aggressive, you get shotted, and then you hide, yeah? But because you're being aggressive and actually dragging some of the enemy team's attention, your team is not gonna die. Think about it. You are HP pack. You are constant HP pack. So by going in aggressive, by tanking some of the damage, you help your team to survive. That is really important. I popped ult right there to try and save the Rhine. It was way too late and Rhine died. Oh yeah, yeah. And I think I understand that part. It's just that I do think that is the consequences why the Reinhardt was low is because the damage output was a little bit low on the low end before the fight starts. Oh, that is the thought process. Hopefully that makes sense because let's say you play over here. Yeah. What happens is we're pretty safe, but then you're also not pushing your limit towards that position where you can do more damage. Hope if that makes sense. Yeah, so let's say again. We have this fight here. Okay. And then this is a little bit more of a better position, which I like, but see the problem with that. That is really aggressive position, and that is good. But the only problem you have with that position is that you don't have any corner. So you can be here, I think. You can be here totally, but instead of doing this, I want to do this, maybe. Let's say first of all, you can shoot the Junkrat. Second, you will pick these guys. But instead, we are exposed to too many angles. That's it. That's it. I think that's gonna be our summary for today. Okay. So what I'm gonna do as well, I'm gonna send you the document with all these points, and then you can have them too. I had tunnel vision and wanted to orb the Mei. Yeah, and that makes sense, right? But see it like also when thinking about prioritizing the healing gets what we get out of it a lot of times is that we can get shot at, and then we're forgetting about the most important support ability is trying to do damage in Overwatch 2 currently. Yeah, because using the corners, maybe you push this guy away, and then you push the another guy away. So it's a constant habit you want to try to train. You go maybe from this corner towards this corner, and then maybe you can also be more aggressive and use more aggressive corners. Yep. Any character of this advice, what I told you, I think it can apply to any character besides the mouse 2 part with Zenyatta. Well, so that is it. Quick TLDR. Mouse 2. Okay, actually, let's do it this way. I'm just gonna pop the document and let's see. Let's have it this way. Okay. Quick TLDR so far. What do we have? What are we doing well? What are we doing well? I'm pretty sure your orb, yeah, let's call it healing orb. Healing orb is pretty decent. I do think your mechanics you can still work on them, but that shouldn't be your first focus, in my opinion. What I recommend again is doing FFA, is doing much more of this potential custom games, which we call Voxstar, where you do the shooting towards the bot with a crazy movement, but prioritize doing FFA. So healing orb is good. I would say your awareness can make some work, but for now, our awareness actually is okay. It's actually in okay level. What we gonna pay attention to is our positioning. So first of all, let's just call that corners. Okay. For mechanics perspective, let's do FFA more. We didn't discuss the tempo. We discussed the timing with you slightly. Yep. So what we just discussed is paying attention to your tank. Tank is active. It was really short, but that's also important, I think. Tank is active. Can be active too. Okay. And then corners, that is enough. Yeah, we can also talk about this mechanics perspective, such as our mouse 2. Our mouse 2 in a downtime. I'm gonna write it down a little bit more for you and then send it to you. I'm just gonna end the stream and do that, if that's okay. But so far, that's it. Any final questions? And yeah, with our goals, that's gonna be pretty much increasing. Your main theme can be increasing damage output, as support, and then I can also do this here. Yeah, there's your goals. Well, if no questions, then I'm gonna end the stream. What I really recommend is trying to do some practice, which I just showed you, and then you can tell me how your results are gonna be. If you're gonna have any questions regarding anything, then you can always message me here on Discord. And potentially, what we can do is also set up some long-term training as well. There's no problem with that. You can also try to do weekly sessions. Most of my students who are actively playing, they reach much higher ranks. And I also have a specific way to train everybody. I have a specific documents to track the progress. So we're constantly going to have a specific goal we work on. If you want to do something like that, then let me know. But yeah, for our next sessions, actually, what I would focus on specifically a little bit more, by the way, is looking at your timings and also looking at map control, specifically discussing the part for off angles. Because what I described to you, being more aggressive, finding ways to be more aggressive, is a lot connected to this, to being able to off angle Zenyatta. But for now, I would just say, let's be more aggressive. You don't have to think about the off angles yet, maybe. But your next step can be doing that. Okay. Bye-bye, everybody. I'm stretching my back. I will see you guys later. Have a nice day. Have a nice day. Bye-bye. Also, wait, what? Regulus, what do you know about rolling down in the deep? I forgot the song words. I forgot. I had mine with Gefest back in June, but I keep rewatching it and I do be learning